what we've developed is something that I think is quite unique in the BIM community, not just in South Africa. We are talking to international peers, and this is really something unique. I'm going to show you what we do, try to show you how we fit in a bigger BIM scheme of things without having BIM band-aided on a contract. So my background, thanks for an introduction, Werner Pretorius. I've been with Stefan Stocks for the majority of my career. Feels like it's been for the majority of my life, and all probably it is. I'm a registered professional engineer. I'm a professional contracts manager, and I'm now doing my master's with University of Barcelona on BIM. So I talk engineer, I talk contractor, and I'm fluent in BIM the most. Right. Let's check so that's the laser. That's going forward. There's my, if you want to take a photo and make contact with me, more than welcome. What I'm going to discuss today is a simple, straightforward, practical implementation of BIM, limited to the information that we receive from clients, from the consultants, from architects. What do we do with that information? How do we interpret it? What is important for us to know? And how do we manage our risks, ultimately for the benefit of the client? Are you okay? Everybody's down there? So, I call it BIM construction, or construction BIM. It doesn't exist. What we do is, in lieu of having a EIR, a BEP, and the natural flow of BIM workflows, we develop a construction model. I'm going to quickly talk about our alternative roadmap, a construction BIM model, cash protections, order simulations, and that follows a natural sequence. Temporary works designs, fabrication information, which is one of our responsibilities on the real BIM contract. You've got three, you've got all of this. We only do fabrication, asphalt, and handover. You can do the rest. Electronic document management system, an alternative to not a common data environment. Electronic document. You need both when you do a BIM model. Asphalt and then close it. And hopefully easy questions. About a year ago, our CEO, Russell Porford, challenged us and said, just think outside the box, really. Out of the box, come up with a scheme, come up with a concept. And it was important for us because we've experienced small, very subtle hints that the market is moving this way. We know that BIM was mandated, but the digital transformation meant that we manage risk. That Russell really is hammering on managing risk. So it's important enough for us. Yeah, and it's hard to argue with those two guys with the sides. It's important for us, and what if we really want to do something, we try not to find excuses. And that's a stubborn contractor coming forward, we make them. We don't sit, we get up, we go and do it, and then we try to explain it. And what I want to do today, hopefully, what I explain is simple, otherwise it means I don't understand. About a year and a half ago, this will be the largest single contract in South Africa. It will definitely be the largest contract that Stefan Stocks will ever be awarded. We're really holding thumbs for it, and we're up against our Chinese friends here. But this was the total BIM required in defining the contract. I've summarized on the left-hand side. The contract required is a coordinated, accurate, disciplined, integrated digital outputs, including drawings, as-built information, but it gives the methods, tools, and data structures logic to the project team. In other words, we want it to be digitalized, but we want BIM, but we don't really know what to say, but it'd be nice if we can have something digital. But be careful to say BIM because we don't really know how to put an OI on the ER together. But it'd be nice. So what does it lack? Formal information management doesn't exist. Defined standards and rules doesn't exist. Common data environment requirements doesn't exist. Structures and deliverables, it's really a BIM light. We're fine with it. We're action technique. Because we've developed this alternative. I'm going to play a short video. What I'm trying to demonstrate here is the natural flow of activities as per the ISO 19650, and then our port ranger takes the bypass. Remember now, by the time BIM is really mandated on all the contracts, you want to be fit. You know, it takes little baby steps. We're not going to run. No contract is just going to be awarded the contract in BIM, the BIM requirements, and then say, there we go. So this is how we get. Naturally, the client will give you an EIR and a BEP, or the pointing party will give you an EIR. Pointed party will develop the BEP. It doesn't exist, it's on construction South Africa, predominantly. What we do is we develop the BIM implementation format. Sorry, frame. Using exactly the same guidance, exactly the same naming conventions as defined in the building smart workflows. Exactly the same workflows defined in ISO 19650. This is incorporated for ourselves. Now what do we do with it? I'm going to go to the next slide. It's actually nice to see that. I'm doing book, maybe I have to say, yeah, do you see what I wrote myself? That little wheel you see there on the bottom, where the bucket came in, that's the BIM model. Our interpretation of things is, if the BIM model doesn't exist, then you build one. So I think this is where the key lies, and we haven't figured it out. But I'm almost, neither one of those three structures, you'll probably recognize this water tower, pot of rain, well, I'm not really supposed to say. On the right-hand side is something that represents something that could be, that is a well, maybe in Cape Town. But anyway, none of those components that you see there, that LP there, none of those components, or something like just pull over a library somewhere. Those are the exact components, from the undercarriage to the mast, the jib, the counterweights, everything is meticulously modeled ourselves. That format there, design, quantified, everything is meticulously packed in. On the permanent works, we model the permanent works. What I'm trying to figure out, and maybe as an industry we could work towards this, we lack the ability to develop a bill of quantities from that model as a standard method of measurement. Not just a sheet with a bunch of stuff. Valuable information, not just information, valuable information. But we'll figure that out. I'm almost there. Next thing, cash detection. Because there's value here for us. Is assuming there's a lot of value if we know how much we're going to book. A ball's under-measured, over-measured. Press the wrong button, see just a dumb comment. That's the pen stock intake. Actually, the business with that. We're going to start with that pen stock intake now. See. We've spoken about that. Cash detections, I'm not going to bore you with the cash detections. You've spoken about it before. You have the ability to do it in-house. We typically like to do it when we do the mechanical, electrical, detailing, fabrication information. Does it clash, yes or no? Some of our clients do even helping on that. But here's that. Audio simulation. So we've taken it a step further. In between 4D and 5D, we'll still give it an A. I don't know, 1.5. What we do, was the old guy used to say, listen carefully. Some people say, listen carefully. Yeah. We are supposed, we write method statements. So then it goes to the engineer, and then the engineer reads it and he says, no, change this. It goes back and forth and back and forth. So just picture this. So method statement written by an Afrikaans guy, edited by an engineer, and all respect, not a contract. Given for a labor who probably never spoke Afrikaans in his life. His home language is Zulu. To go and interpret and go and build it. Where do we learn? What are we trying to keep? We've developed this. We take the 4D simulation, and then we make an animation, which meticulously shows the process. This is even a build. Next robot, breeze. Stop. Peace. Oh, there. Lunch was nice. Because this is not a cold, this is a calder. We're busy working in Zambia. He developed this travel frame house. All of this is stuff with us. Now he is done with a supplier or everything very. How we lower the frames, drop it down onto wheels. Ujek forward. A stripping, no labeling beads and stuff, people purple from the roof. Over. Okay, manage risk. What is the root spot? All right, so that's managing risk. Another big risk item for us is pricey work. A structure that is super difficult to interpret. And then what you do is we guess to the nearest guesstimate how much this thing is going to cost. And we try to run a business on. What we now do is we develop a in-house. All our pay-free waste design. This is meticulous, this is tender. She's not even out to get Zuzi. See, very nice stuff and did show. So each one of those components, I actually wanted to show you guys how we pick up and place in per heat, how the bolted connections work. There's a structural analysis, there's stress analysis of that. Everything's intentionalized. I know exactly how to build it. You're not just, schema solution. You master what you do. I mean, if you look at it, it just looks wrong, doesn't it? Okay, then we move over to the next thing, and that's fabrication information. Now that goes for structural steel fabrication, unique PE, whatever the case might be. This is a concrete liner, on the left-hand side, modeled in Inventor, priced him, properly priced, not 50 kilograms more for, oops, you made a mistake on, volumetric, on the volume and the relativity of silk. It is actually correct. Pass that model on to the engineer in the IFC, scoop, and he puts it back into his you federate it more. And then he said, they actually see rich data. This is DRD. You guys know the DRD project? Anybody? It's 14 kilometers in circumference. Okay. It's the largest. We've pretty much got all our pond on. All classes from before. We modeled in-house, we modeled the tailings facility, Tikasi, Mouse, and we fired with a drone every 2 weeks, and then they overlaid production. And sometimes you can see a berm is a little bit out, so you have to push that one back in. But that's what it looks like. That's what they discuss on their monthly meetings. You could take acted ditch, build, bitch, dot. What are you going to do with a model if you don't use it? We send with it. KZR, what's not you to file? Ask for a like is here. They said with all that information. And remember now, we don't have a place to put it in. Part doesn't want the CDE. If we said on the ditch data, we don't really want to put it in the CD because then we lose it. Now we want to keep up. So we made that step to people. So we've developed what we call SAS, all our contract documentation. So if you're not unfamiliar with this, top left button, there is some non-conformance reports. It's empty. Everything doesn't have non-conformance series. So we're going to take that one out now. HUD quality data, people inspections, material inspections, everything is EPC captured. But now what can I do with that? Figure out a way to be SAS directly back into the model, into the Revit model. So you're going to click onto that wall, people inspections, guarantees on the lights, everything's put it into the model via SAS. You will tell you can do a couple of us. This is buy to watch, asphalt or buy to watch. We have to do asphalts. The sponsor will do it, or the contract. We just make it easy. If you do what? Asphalt posing. Sorry? Narrow bowls. So when construction began, with the real construction, Genesis 11, and everybody's talking different languages. Eh? Look at that. Pass me a brick, and other guys say, who? And then we thought, we're going to put computers on stuff. And then everything buggered up properly. Now we start talking the same language as 1950 and buildings font. I thought about last week you presented this. I actually thought about this when I did the presentation. I want to put it in perspective here, the vision, what our vision is, it's definitely stocks, is a first real BIM native construction paradigm. Whether it is mandated or not, we're doing it on our major projects. We cannot suffer the risk. Most of the concrete that we pour is in the outside South Africa. We've got a contract up in Modena, the water working with BRC. It takes us 6 weeks to get a shutter from Netherlands. If I make a mistake now, I lose money. Everything is meticulously detailed. Assets are accumulated. It's keyed, packed, shipped. Now we can go and enjoy that. So the ship, guys, the question is not how do we, the question is not how do we use BIM? Is how to transform construction by ourselves, with differentiation, and then a shift puts. This is the big one. We are just going to come to a point where we are not being asked to do the building. We're going to say we refuse to do it without. We are going to require those, we're going to need these players. We are going to require, actually not the 3D models, we require the information model. But hopefully we'll be soon. Any questions to ask?